lots of organic seeds available in the store now. And it's getting worse and worse. Oh, they said no. Please, no vegetables. We grow vegetables. They're concerned about that.
The guy comes from way
The interesting part about this company is that they make themselves look like the good guys. In their annual report, they have a separate 30-page annual report, which I have here if anybody wants to see it. And in that they say all the good things that they're doing, like developing drought-resistant seeds, which is really a great idea. Not only for Africa, but it's a great idea for Texas and the areas that are going to have drought in the future. They have a specific water-efficient maize for Africa, which they say dedicated to improving lives through the development of their products that help smallholders, blah, blah, blah. It's funded by Bill and Melinda Gates and the Howard G. Buffett Foundation. There is such big money in this whole thing, it's unbelievable. Now that's a good idea that they have drought-resistant seeds. They make a big deal that they give it royalty-free to the sub-Saharan Africa. They're not giving it royalty-free. Gates and Buffett are paying for it. So it's such a boondoggle. Then they also have in this sustainability thing, they gave $5 million to the Mississippi River Watershed Project. You know how much money they made in 2012? Their net income was $2,045 million. $2 billion with a B, $45 million, and they're bragging about giving $5 million to the Mississippi is going downhill. 1 minute. Oh my God. Okay. I think one of the important things that has to be done is the patent laws have to be changed. The patent laws were set up in the 1930s for people who were putting apple trees together. They never even imagined that people would be able to splice genes and put them together. The director of corporate communications in 1998 of Monsanto said, in quotes, Monsanto should not have to vouchsafe the safety of biotech food. Our interest is in selling as much as possible. Assuring its safety is the FDA's job. Well, that sounds really good, but the people who work for Monsanto wind up quitting their job and working for the FDA, so they have such a boondoggle going on. And so this is a very important issue, and you have to do what you can for it. Whether it's just signing our Sierra Club petition, which New York State has a bill that's going through to require things to be labeled with GMOs, or if you can get involved in helping people like this, having a movement like this, you can go to the Sierra Club website, sierraclub.org, and put in GMOs. You'll find their seed there, their information. Happy to talk to anybody who has any questions. If I can answer them, I will. Thanks. Keep coming back.
Thank you, Bonnie. All right, so who's up next? We have John Stefanian. John Stefanian, where are you? Awesome, John. You're a co-founder of Long Island Food Not Bombs, the largest food not bombs chapter.
PA's not working.
What do you have to say?
But I don't get it. Chew on that thing.
People hear this?
Sort of.
My name is John. I'm with Long Island Food Not Bombs, and I'm here today to talk to you about an issue that's really important to me, about food security. I'm here because I believe food is a human right. It's not a privilege. I'm here because I believe in food and not bombs. Hunger and poverty are just as devastating to people as bombs, as jet planes, as war. And they're just as powerful as a tool of control than any kind of battle we can have against a third world nation. So why am I here? Companies like Monsanto. Companies like Monsanto want you to believe in a myth. They want you to believe in a myth of food scarcity. They want you to believe that there's not enough food on this planet to feed everybody. They want you to believe that you need their products in order to feed the hungry and the poor. responsible for the hungry and the poor in this world. Every single day, I go to supermarkets and grocery stores and I pick up perfectly good food that would normally go to waste. Brand new bananas, apples, fresh produce. Millions of pounds of food every single year we're able to pick up and give to people in need. And all of that food would normally be tossed out. We live in a society that wastes more food than we consume. And yet we say that people have to go hungry because there's not enough food for everybody. This is the myth of scarcity. We can see it on our own streets. We can see it in the third world. You don't have to look too far. There's hungry people everywhere. One of the reasons for this is because companies like Monsanto want waste. They want to make it easier for corporations to throw food out. Because you can't charge 50 cents for a banana if there's millions of bananas all in the trash can. It's called supply and demand. If there's too much food, the only way of keeping the price up is to artificially keep the demand up by throwing it out. So they lobby for laws that give tax incentives for corporations to toss food out. So if Whole Foods over here throws out their bananas, they get a tax write-off for doing so. And you, the taxpayer, pay for that. What people also don't realize is that most of the food that's grown in this country is also never even picked. 40% of what we grow in this nation is left to rot on the fields, or worse off, sometimes burnt, paid for by tax dollars. More of that food is then wasted at distribution centers and mills, also paid for by tax dollars. We do this under the guise of keeping prices stabilized. The USDA funds this because they don't want the price of milk to go down and for milk farmers to go out of business. So we say, we'll pay for your waste. Yet people go hungry. We tell ourselves that there's not enough food on this planet to feed everybody. And we're told that Monsanto and GMO crops are going to solve the problem. But they're not. More than not, countries all across the globe are waking up to this fact. When you have a nation that starts saying, we don't want your GMOs, we don't want your poisoned fruits and vegetables, what's happening to them? Well, Monsanto and other corporations are forcing those countries to adopt those crops through structural adjustment programs. These are programs that are controlled by the IMF and the World Bank, and they go up to a third world nation and they say, unless you force your farmers to buy Monsanto products, we will foreclose on your debt. We will make your country poor. We will bomb your country. We will starve you out. And this has happened in India. This has happened in Indonesia. This has happened in Uganda. And people don't want these crops. Farmers don't want these crops because with normal crops, you can replant those seeds every single year, but you can't do that with GMOs. Why the hell would a farmer want to constantly pay for something that was free only a few decades ago? Why would people want to buy products that make them sicker? Why do we need these things if there's more than enough food to go around? Yeah! So I don't say all this to try to be depressing. I say all this to give you hope. Because there is more than enough food to go around. Because there is more than enough food to feed everybody. We just have to wake up and use it. We have the resources at our hands. Anybody can collect food from a supermarket. Anyone can dumpster dive for their food. Anyone can plant a garden in an empty lot. We have that power. If anyone has any questions on how to do such things, they can come to us. We're Food Not Bombs, and we'll have a table over at Washington Square Park, and we'll answer any questions you might have. So, in closing, I just plead with you, do not believe in this myth of scarcity. Don't believe that you're powerless and have to rely on these bastards to feed the people that are starving right now, because these are the people that are keeping those people starving. Take action and take responsibility and stand up, rise up, and let your voices be heard.
All right, thank you. Yes, give it a hand. What do you got to say?
Hello, my name is Eric Weltman. I'm with Food and Water Watch, a national consumer organization working out of our office in Brooklyn. Can you hear me? Good.
Make it louder.
Here in New York, we're helping lead the fight to ban fracking. And we're also working closely with GMO-Free New York, the Northeast Organic Farming Association, and other allies to support legislation requiring the labeling of genetically engineered foods. Under any circumstances, passing a bill into law is difficult and time-consuming. It takes a lot of effort and a long time. But folks, these aren't ordinary circumstances because we're going up against some of those powerful, wealthy corporate interests, including one of the world's most nefarious corporations, Monsanto. Food and Water Watch is all about building the power to take on corporate interests and win. But we recognize that the playing field is not fair, that wealthy interests have an unfair advantage, which is why we're supporting campaign finance reform in Albany, fair elections, and why you should too. At the same time, Food and Water Watch is helping build a movement here in New York and across the country for a fair and sustainable food system. Thanks to the power of this movement, thanks to you, we've managed to keep Walmart out of New York City. The fracking rigs at bay for the moment. And now we're taking on Monsanto in an effort to allow consumers the right to know what's in their food. There are three action steps that we're asking you to take. First of all, circulate our petition to your friends, family, and neighbor. There are 4 clipboards going around as we speak. Petitions, please make sure they get back to me before we leave. Second, circulate our coalition sign-on letter to churches, food co-ops, and health food stores, and other businesses and institutions that might sign on and support. And third, call your own legislators, your assembly member and senator. As I mentioned, we're working to support legislation to require the labeling of GE foods. This legislation has been introduced in both the State Assembly and the State Senate. In the Assembly, the chief sponsor is Linda Rosenthal, a wonderful progressive Democrat from the Upper West Side of Manhattan. The bill number is A3525. In the Senate, the chief sponsor is Kenneth Laval, a Republican from Long Island, and the bill number is S3835. As I also mentioned, passing a bill is a lengthy, fairly complex process, with the aim being winning the support of the legislature's leaders, having the bill come to a vote and passing, and then having the governor sign it. In order to achieve this, we need to build grassroots support for the bill and translate that support among rank-and-file legislators in Albany. The main way of doing this is recruiting co-sponsors for the bill. That is having legislators, both assembly members and senators, sign as formal supporters of the bill. At this point in the process, we're still actively seeking co-sponsors of these bills, and we need your help. There are 150 members of the Assembly. At this moment, there are 42 co-sponsors of the bill. There are 63 members of the Senate, and at this moment, there are 5. Just 5 co-sponsors of the bill in the Senate. There is no magic number of co-sponsors. The more, the better. Getting co-sponsors, that is getting legislators to show their support for the bill, is critical to nudging the bill through the process, which means first getting it approved by the committees that are considering the bill. In the Assembly, that committee is the Committee on Consumer Affairs, chaired by Assembly Member Jeffrey Dinowitz, a Democrat from the Bronx. In the Senate, that committee is the Consumer Protection Committee, chaired by Senator Lee Zeldin, a Republican from Long Island. that in mind, our advocacy efforts are geared towards getting our legislators to influence the committee chairs as well as the top legislative leadership, Speaker Shelley Silver and Majority Leader Skelos. Again, passing legislation is a long process, a process that Food and Water Watch and our allies are engaged in numerous states across the country, from Maine to Washington. We're convinced, we are convinced, with the growing grassroots power of our movement and the overwhelming public support for GE labeling, that it will pass, eventually. And once it happens in one state, the other dominoes may start to fall. Yeah! That first state just might be New York. Yeah. Only if you get involved. So please, collect petitions, get endorsements, and call your legislators. Here's the bottom line. Here is the bottom line. Monsanto has too much power over our food system. Monsanto is a major force within the growing corporate consolidation and control of our food system, dictating what we eat and how it's produced and sold. It's a system described by Food and Water Watch's own executive director, Winona Howder, in her new book, Foodopoly, which lays out the history of how corporations came to dominate food politics and food policy. This legislation and the movement that we are building, that you are building to support it, is one important step towards dismantling Monsanto's power over our food system. Yeah! Please get those petitions back to me, folks.
Thank you. So up next, guys, Bob Klein. He's with Safe School Food Coalition. What can you do for our kids? Come on, Bob, let's see it.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. Can you hear me? Yeah! The Safe and Healthy School Food Coalition has a message for the New York City Department of Education. They are the ones who are responsible for the food our children eat in the school cafeterias. Yes. Food that is laden with poisonous pesticides, dangerous antibiotics, ammoniated and radiated and filled with GMO ingredients. Food that can make you sick. So our message to the Department of Education is, we are mad as hell and we're not gonna eat it anymore. And the Safe and Healthy School Food Coalition has a message for all of you and all your friends and your family. That message is, fight with your fork! Yeah! If we don't eat it, they can't sell it! Yeah! Yeah! So don't pay them to poison you! If we get together as parents and students and refuse to eat the unhealthy school food our children are being served, then we can have a tremendous influence on our children's health and on our broken and corrupt agricultural system. Yeah. New York City buys and serves more food for its school system than any other organization in the entire country. It buys more food than anyone else except the Pentagon. It's true that because of parental pressure, the DOE is already trying to improve school food, but guess what? Their food budget is anemic. Possibly the drone program is sucking a lot of that money away. But in Italy, all public school children are fed organic food. Wow. The rate of childhood illness is much lower in Italy than it is in the United States. Bad food will make you sick, and it is making our children sick. The Obama children eat organic food at their school. You know who else eats organic? George Bush does. Check it out. Bill Clinton does. So does Mitt Romney. executives, I'm being told as well. Are they better than our school children here in New York City? No! Do they deserve better than our children? No! Food connects everything. Connect with your food. This recently released report details the startling health consequences of the pesticide glyphosate that is sprayed on almost all genetically engineered crops. It's just one pesticide, but it's the most widely used pesticide in the world. It was invented by Monsanto. I urge you to get the report and read it. It's on our website. Our website is schoolfood.info. The rise in obesity in America started in the same year that glyphosate was first used on our crops, 1974. The evidence is now overwhelming that glyphosate is implicated in the tremendous rise in ADHD and autism and depression that we are experiencing. Almost all GMO foods are saturated with glyphosate. It interferes with the body's ability to produce neurochemicals like serotonin. This is proven. It's in the report, just released 2 weeks ago. These are substances the brain needs to function properly. It interferes with the gut bacteria's ability to produce tryptophan, which produces serotonin. The switch to organic and biosustainable food in our school cafeterias would have a tremendous positive impact for local farmers and the local economy, as well as our children's health. Safe and Healthy School Food Coalition chapters can be started in every city, in every town. We will pressure the politicians until they do the right thing, but it's a lot of work. Please help us. Leave us your email and we will get in touch with you. Otherwise, the biggest impact that you can make is to stop eating CAFO meat. Does anyone know what CAFO stands for? No. It stands for torturing animals. CAFO stands for immoral and unethical. It means concentrated animal feeding operation. That's where they torture an animal its entire life by confining them to tiny, filthy spaces, often with no daylight, while force-feeding them cheap government-subsidized GMO soy and corn. So they get sick. So they need antibiotics. Most of the meat in this country is CAFO meat. Stop eating it today. It isn't easy because most restaurants serve it, most deli and fast food carts. But if you tell your favorite restaurant, I can't eat here anymore because I'm mad as hell, if you don't have organic or free-range meat option on your menu. If just 3 people did that, I guarantee you they will start getting ethically raised, healthy meats on their menu. GMO-free livestock, no more torture meat. I try to avoid the restaurants even though I'm a vegetarian because they're still serving meat that was tortured while it was raised and profiting on it. Don't eat CAFO meat. Now, the good news. We hold the best cards in this struggle. Vote with your dollar. Try to buy only healthy pesticide-free food as much as possible. If it's more expensive, then save money by making your own beer. Yeah! Cut off your cable TV. Health is our greatest wealth, and as the great Adele Davis said, you are what you eat. Now let's try to have some fun. There's a lot of musicians here. I got a little song prepared for you, but I need some backup singers. Who wants to sing? All right, half the crowd here is going to sing one thing, and half the crowd here is going to answer that. Is everybody on board with that, or at least a few of you? Yeah! All right, this side of the crowd on the beat, when I cue you, is going to sing, I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. And when I cue this side of the crowd, you're going to answer, fight with your fork. Fight with your fork. All right? And I'm going to sing on top of it a little bit. Even though I got dry mouth. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm not buying it. 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 Louder. I'm not buying it. 3, 4. I'm not buying it. Ready over here. Fight with your fork. Fight with your fork. Fight with your fork.
Oh, Seattle's with us. 1 second, guys. Seattle is on top right now.
Seattle! Go Washington! Hi everybody, I'm Michael Vasilias and we help organize this action. We love you for coming here. I want everybody to know that Seattle, we are in solidarity with you guys. We're going to be marching with every city in this country. Let New York hear you scream!
So, Christine Siegel, here we go. Elizabeth